Hello, in today's video I am going to be doing a Q&A all about Power Diary. Whether you've been here for a while or come across my channel recently, you'll know that I absolutely love Power Diary and it is the #1 EHR platform that I recommend for therapists in private practice. So I have created a Power Diary setup course which takes you step by step through the setup process so that you can fully use the system and be confident that you're using all the right features so that you can automate and streamline your practice admin as much as possible. So today I'm going to do a quick Q&A all about Power Diary, and these are questions that have been sent in to me via my email list and also on Instagram stories for the launch of my Power Diary course. First of all, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Kim. I help therapists get online, get confident with admin and reduce tech overwhelm. So I'm going to head to my questions. Okay, I'm with another EHR. Is it easy to transfer? So yes, it is very easy to transfer your system from one EHR to Power Diary. They have articles on how you can do this. So what you want to do is in the help section, you want to type in the EHR that you're currently with, and it will give you a link to how to extract the information from that system, and it will also tell you what to do with the information, how to send it to Power Diary, and then Power Diary will import the information for you. Depending on which system you currently have, there is different amount of data that can be pulled from the system and imported into Power Diary. So I would suggest you just check that out. If you head to Power Diary's frequently asked questions page on their website, you'll be able to have a look at those articles depending on what system you're currently with. So yes, it is possible and it is relatively easy too. Is it easy to switch from Google Workspace to Power Diary, and how much time would be involved? So this question is actually from a client of mine who we set up a Google Workspace private practice management system for her, and now she's got much busier and is looking to transfer from Google Workspace to Power Diary. Now, the good thing about doing the Google Workspace setup is that she already has all of the information that she's going to need to move to Power Diary. So she's already got her onboarding processes, she's got her private practice paperwork, she's got all of her folders set up for her clients, all of her client information. So because she has all that information, it's going to be really easy to transition to an EHR now that she's ready. And with regards to how much time is involved, it's going to be much quicker for her because she already has all of these processes done. So it's not going to take her long. And if she did it with my setup course and did it step by step, she'd probably get it done in a couple of days. So a follow-up question from her was, will I be starting all again with my forms and spreadsheets and resources? So we always suggest that people use Power Diary in conjunction with Google Workspace because you want to sync your calendar so that you can time block and do all of that kind of fun stuff with Google Calendar, and also use Gmail to communicate with your clients, because yes, you can communicate with your clients through Power Diary, but when the client responds to you, it's going to come to your inbox anyway. So apart from for reminders, invoices and things like that, we always suggest people use their Gmail to communicate with clients about other things. So she already has that set up. She's already got all of her Gmail templates set up. She's got her calendar set up with the different types of calendars she has for her admin, for her client sessions and things like that. She's got her Drive set up with all of the resources. So again, I would keep that. She's got Gmail templates to be able to send resources out. You could either keep them or you could duplicate them in Power Diary so that you've got a record of what you've sent your clients in one place. With regards to the forms, you can just transfer that from a Google form to a Power Diary form, and that's going to be good because when you have the form set up, it will automatically populate the client's profile using a Power Diary form. So I would suggest just copying that, but it's going to be quite simple and a quick process for her to do, just transferring it from a Google form to a Power Diary form. So kind of yes and kind of no. You're not starting all over again because you're really just copying and pasting the information that you already have. But yes, you will have to change it from a Google form to a Power Diary form. So her final question was, does my Power Diary setup course take you from Google Workspace to Power Diary? So that was just like a follow-up question. And basically with my setup course, it really is for anyone wanting to set up an EHR for their private practice, and it's designed for people who have absolutely no processes and systems in place, or people that do have that. It really is getting the information from you, from your brain about your practice, and being able to transfer that information into the Power Diary system so that you can have all of your admin processes and things like that streamlined and automated as much as possible. So it does take you from Google Workspace to Power Diary, or it takes you from nothing to Power Diary, or it takes you from a different EHR to Power Diary. So it really can be for anyone, genuinely. How secure is Power Diary, and is it GDPR compliant? So I'm going to read something from my iPad about this because I'm not going to remember this, but basically Power Diary have just been ISO 27001 certified, which means they have put systems in place to manage risks related to the security of data. It respects the best practices and principles enshrined by this international standard. So yes, Power Diary is very secure. They have just been recognised by the international standard with regards to this, and yes, it is GDPR and also HIPAA compliant as well. So people in the UK don't use HIPAA, but it is both GDPR and HIPAA compliant. So it's a very secure system for all of your client data. How do I know that I am ready for an EHR? This is genuinely a question I get a lot, and I think if you're starting to ask that question, you're probably ready for an EHR, because if you're thinking about, do I need one? The answer more than likely is yes. However, there's no hard and fast rule about when a private practice is ready for an EHR. I have like a rule of thumb of around 10 clients. However, somebody who has 5 clients and a really, really busy life might be ready for an EHR, whereas somebody might have 15 clients and they do not have a busy life outside their private practice, and they can completely cope with managing 15 clients using Google Workspace or a different system. So there isn't a hard and fast rule for somebody being ready, but there are some questions you can ask yourself. And one of them is, can you afford the system? One of them is, are you thinking about outsourcing? Because lots of people come to me wanting a virtual assistant, and actually what I offer them is one of these setups that I do, so whether that's Google Workspace or Power Diary, and then they realize that actually they didn't need an assistant at all. They just needed all of their admin procedures and processes set up and automated and streamlined so that they could manage it by themselves better. So if you're thinking about outsourcing, if you're getting to the point where the admin is just getting too much for you, I would suggest trying an EHR first, because the amount you're going to spend on an EHR is going to be much less than you're going to spend on an assistant. How can I accept payments from clients? Okay, so there's 2 ways that you can accept payments from clients using the system. The first way is by syncing your Power Diary account to Stripe, so that you can have a pay link within your invoices, and your client can click on that pay link and make the payment using a card. This is obviously going to have a cost to you, because you're going to have to pay Stripe fees, and you're also going to have to pay an admin fee for that as well. I'll put the current rate on the screen so that you can see what it is at the moment, but there is a fee, and so depending on what your fee is for your clients, just know that there will be a fee that you're paying to use that system. The other way that we accept payments for clients is via BACS, and basically what you do is on the invoice and on the invoice email, you just put your bank transfer information, and then you just send that out, and you don't sync it with Stripe, and then you don't have those payment fees. So there are the 2 ways that you can accept payments using the system. Obviously, if you're seeing clients face to face and you are happy to accept cash and things like that, I don't usually recommend that, because it's much harder to keep track of what's been paid and what hasn't, and also it means you possibly have to actually go to the bank and put the cash in the bank, and with the way that banks are at the moment, they're hardly ever open, so it's very hard to do that. So I would suggest making sure that the client transfers the money directly to you, either via BACS or using a pay link. Do I recommend Telehealth? So Power Diary has its own Telehealth video call platform, which they are currently in the process of upgrading. I've tested it out a couple of times and it's not my favorite. I would still recommend using Zoom alongside with Power Diary, which I know is an additional cost when you get Telehealth for free. And I would suggest testing it out for yourself to see and make sure that you're not having any problems with it. As I said, Power Diary are in the process of upgrading their system, so I think once that has gone through all the testing and they've got client feedback, I think it will be a much better system, and then can hopefully reduce the cost that you would need for Zoom. But for the time being, I would say no. I definitely recommend having Zoom alongside Power Diary, but test it out and see. Can my VA have access to Power Diary? So yes, absolutely. As far as I'm aware, you can have unlimited users on your Power Diary account, which means that you can have access to it, your VA can have access to it, and possibly someone who is on your clinical will as well. So if somebody needs access to your clients, if the worst were to happen to you and they needed to contact them, and you can select different security levels for every user. So for example, if you were working with a virtual assistant and you wanted to keep your client notes on Power Diary, what you could do is have the access level, so you obviously have full access to everything, and then your VA can have access to everything except for client notes. So that is a way that you can give access to your VA, but also select what they have access to within the system. Can Power Diary handle medical insurance claims directly? So yes and no. You can definitely manage your medical insurance clients using Power Diary really simply. With most medical insurance companies, they will pre-authorize a certain number of sessions. So you can use session packs to keep track of how many sessions your client has had. You can also add personal information onto the invoices at client level. So you could put their membership number, the client's date of birth, the address, the pre-authorization number, and things like that. So it's much easier for you to process those invoices on another system. With Bupa, for example, you would have to use Providers Online to process the invoices, and with many others you'll need to use Health Code, but some of them do have their own portals or a way that you can email invoices. So what you can do is set up the recipient of the invoices to those email addresses, and it's going to be much easier for you to not have to raise an individual invoice for that client because it's all automated within Power Diary. But for some, you would still need to use Providers Online or Health Code. So it's a yes and no answer with that one. Why do I recommend Power Diary over other EHR systems? So I have used other EHR systems with clients, and I have transferred clients from other EHRs to Power Diary. I personally find Power Diary the most intuitive and user-friendly system there is. I think it has the most features that therapists in private practice require, so you're not having to do things outside of the platform, like the forms, like invoicing, like reporting, like these session packs I was talking about. So I do think that the features are just fantastic for therapists in private practice. I do also find that the therapists that are moving from any other EHR to Power Diary also have this same opinion, that it's much more user-friendly, it's much easier to navigate around, and it has all the features that they want. You can also check out my Power Diary playlist, which I will leave somewhere, and there you can see some more in-depth information about why I love Power Diary. So the last question is, can I do the setup from scratch? And absolutely, if you want to set up your own Power Diary account and do the setup yourself, you absolutely can. Power Diary do send out a lot of instructions and help when you do set up a Power Diary account, so you can absolutely find your way around the system quite easily, like I've said, and get everything set up. But with my Power Diary course, I've taken the past 3 years of setting up multiple practices on Power Diary, so I've come up with a really easy system to get this done really quickly and really efficiently. With my setup course as well, it really does make sure that you are using all of the features that Power Diary have available to you, so that you're not having to do any additional work on the system that could be automated or streamlined. So with this course, you just go through each of the modules, you set up the thing that I'm telling you and showing you how to set up, and then it's done. So it's really set it and forget it. Like I say lots of times, you can really make sure that you set it up once and not have to worry about it again. And it also takes you through understanding how everything works together, so that you can see how everything you're doing relates to something else. For example, with the email templates and getting the information on them, forms, the appointment reminders, and the client profiles and things like that. If you're interested in learning more about Power Diary or getting my setup course, I'll leave a link in the description and it'll talk you through it. If you have any questions, please leave a comment or send me an email. I'll be really happy to answer them for you. But for now, thanks so much for watching.